Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're listening to the Ask Brien Radio Show, KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM in Los Angeles. Unlike last week where I was where, Patrick?
Las Vegas.
And not just Las Vegas, but the
airport in Las Vegas.
Beep, 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 beep. Truck number 16. Move, move, move. Ask Brien. Beep, beep, beep.
We heard all of that too, by the way. Like,
well,
the loading zone is open.
Completely unnecessary too, but yes, we did hear it all.
I wanted to make sure that everybody remembered. And
we remember.
We had to bring that Vegas flavor back. So, without any further ado, A-D-I-E-U, okay, the engineer that begins with an E, who occasionally gets enthusiasm, and sometimes, it happens once every 6 or 7 years, I can empathize with his lack of skills. Well, I guess that's not really empathizing.
Oh my!
It's reality.
That's terrible. Lack of skills.
Last time I was here, he needed an assistant.
No, last time you were in Vegas.
I said the last time I was here.
Oh, last time I was.
Is that because somebody had to take the water from the fountain to you?
No.
What do you need an assistant
for? I was training someone.
I thought AI is going to take over for you.
No, that was definitely not an AI.
I have to talk to them, see what we can do about AI.
Oh, my goodness. That starts with an A, by the way.
Well, it's part of a do.
True.
A-D-I-E-U.
Got a point.
All right. So, Mr. Engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The name of the show is Ask Brien.
Mm-hmm.
The key phrase every week is, why do we have an E in Brien? Okay. And we know that sometimes it's the engineer. Once in a blue moon, I might empathize with you. And sometimes I get enthusiastic. I'm not very enthusiastic right now. I am very dull. Okay.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but, I mean...
Well, let's not forget about our co-host, Traci. Now, can you yodel?
No, I cannot yodel. It's not relevant.
It is one of the key requirements for the show.
No, it's not. And I
it's
don't
a yodeling
know why
show.
We have one of the most fabulous guests today, and you are just torturing me trying to talk about yodeling as opposed to our fabulous guest that we have. So can we just get to it?
Well, we have to find out what the E's are. And yodel had an E in it.
Oh, my goodness.
No, okay, but it doesn't start with an E.
True. Well, Traci, I mean, I can go through this really fast if he's drawing it out, but I can go fast with it.
No, you can explain to people what it is. So.
Well, he took away 3 of them, folks, but the other ones are kind of like a theme of like the Ask Brien show. Experts is one of them because everybody's an expert in their field here on Ask Brien. We bring in the experts. Heyo. Outside of that, we have experience because everybody is very experienced in their field as well. He took away empathy. He wasn't very enthusiastic, but he does bring the excitement from time to time. Isn't that right?
Excitement!
That does it.
Yeah, and I bring the expertise.
Ooh, the expertise, yeah.
Expertise in what? Elmer Fudd expertise. Which also begins with an E. Elmer.
It doesn't sound like that. He goes,
Yeah, so does everything. Capital E, by the way, to you.
Elmer Fudd doesn't even sound like that. He's like, I'm hunting rabbits.
All right.
Traci,
we have a very big guest here. Why are you laughing and extending this?
Because the engineer is extraordinary.
Hey, let's go. Aw. Thanks,
well, listen, even though you haven't introduced me yet, I have input. And my input is I went to go yoga 2 Sundays ago in Marine Park in Santa Monica, and the little goats did speak.
And what did they say? What did they say?
Did they?
No. I do excellent animal sounds. I'm like one of the best.
Well, give us your best shot before we start the show.
Okay, here's the goat. Here's a cow. And here's a pig. Okay,
Old MacDonald had a farm. A-A-I-O. And honors farm, he had some.
This is the craziest show we've ever done, and it hasn't even started yet. I don't even know what to say.
Traci, anytime you and I are on the show, there's always craziness. All right, so, Judith.
Yes.
Let's get serious.
I am.
Let's make it. So, you have you actually did it for us, right? You mediate. So we were having discussion. Traci was going in one direction. I was going in one direction. The engineer was going in one direction. What did you do? You came in and you mediated. You tried to.
That's right. I came in. I neutralized the situation so that there was forward movement. Just what a mediator does.
Exactly. And that's why we have you on the show, because Traci and I need a mediator. This is our couples counseling for radio showcase.
So Judith, when I said that you were coming on and that you were an amicable divorce expert, he asked me if we were getting divorced. I was like, no, we're not getting divorced. We're not even married.
Traci, he asked me the same thing. He said it before you got on. He's already been talking. He's already been talking about you.
Well, just to let you know, people, and this is serious, and the engineer is going to be involved in this conversation. Who did I get a text message from? Somebody that thought I was Paul Bronstein, married to Sharon Stone. And that's a fact. Is that correct, Mr. Engineer?
I actually have proof of that. He actually showed me. This is true.
That happened right before the show.
It did. It really did.
I'll call Sharon and we'll talk. Anyway, as a mediator...
Well, I think Judith wants to mediate that if you
There's no question. There's no question. On my own podcast, The Amicable Divorce Expert, the last Wednesday of every month, we do our celebrity divorce series. So I take a famous divorce. Last month was Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and I look at the aspects of their case. Custody was the big issue. And then we teach people about these aspects of divorce law through the prism of these celebrities that people are reading about and looking at in the news. And it's a lot of fun. People like that.
So, they
probably had a lot of business stuff going on with their divorce, too, didn't they?
No, theirs was easy squeezy. There was no financial settlement. They each have their own money. It was all about custody.
Wow.
We're going to spend about 2 minutes on the celebrity issue, but then I want to go into other parts of business. So, in a celebrity divorce, okay, Jennifer Lopez or anything along those lines, or Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher, when people are getting divorced like that, how does that work? Where does that stand? So if Demi Moore did, St. Elmo's Fire, and Ashton Kutcher did the 70s show, whatever, are those part of the divorce estate?
Not if there's a prenup. So all of the people that you just mentioned, darn well, they have probably had a very tight prenup, and there will be no exchange of any assets whatsoever in most celebrity divorces.
But they married for love.
Pardon me?
They married for love. They didn't need prenuptials. All right, go ahead.
Well, we all marry for love, but we keep our money separate. And it really becomes about the kids at the end of the day. Yeah, no, truly. The only divorces, I'm trying to think. Okay, so Camille Grammer and Kelsey Grammer, I remember their divorce. They had no prenup. She walked away with $50 million.
That's pretty good, although he had quite a bit more, I'm sure.
Well, he keeps working, so he definitely has more. They had no prenup. They divided everything equally.
Well, what about the royalties? Nice. How does that work?
It's all in the prenup. Nobody divides anything.
Right, but in the case of he owned the show, or he had the TV show Frasier, he was still getting.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Okay, so you are referring to Kelsey Grammer. Well, okay, since I don't know all the aspects of that settlement, I would then say yes. All the intellectual property is up for division. Anything that was done from date of marriage to date of separation, any ideas that were generated, it's all up for community property division. So I guess she did. Unless part of the deal was that he said, "Look, I'll split all the hard assets with you." I mean, because I was at their property in Malibu when the girl who played the producer on when Kelsey Grammer had the TV show, and he was the therapist on the air. Gilpin, I can't remember the girl's name that played his producer. She got married at the Malibu estate. I produced all the music for that. So they had some heavy-duty real estate assets, not only in L.A., but in Hawaii. Oh, that's right. Camille got one of the Hawaii estates. Camille did very well.
So let's go to the traditional situation, which is most of our listeners are not celebrities other than our engineer. And so...
and me.
I forgot you were a celebrity in your own mind.
Everybody's a celebrity in their own right.
I'm a celebrity in my mirror. Every time I look in the mirror, that guy's a celebrity. But back to reality. So typical person.
It's my reality.
It is. Reality is what you make of it. Is what you make of it.
That's right.
So if you let's say let's start out the year 2000, you get married. But in 1990, you opened up a garage shop, and you started it out with your own money. You were earning money in college. You put it down. You started this little business. Now it's the year 2000. Okay. Now you get married, and at the time you get married, you're producing $100,000, just for easy numbers, $100,000 of revenue. Now it's 2020. COVID hits. You say, it was really great, but, I can't live at home with my wife, or I can't live at home with that guy anymore. Thank God COVID told me I need to get out. Now the business is generating $2 million in revenue. And let's use the same number as an income, just to make it easy so people can understand. They get divorced and they didn't have a prenuptial. What happens to that property? And how did you split it?
It becomes complicated. Let's just start with that. So the first thing you said was really important. The business started before the marriage. So therefore, the wife, I'm assuming the husband started the business, and then, so there's the wife. So the wife didn't do anything to start the business, but there's all these other caveats that you have to consider. Did the wife work in the business at all? Did she play any part in that business? A lot of times men like to bring their wives in just to kind of work maybe in the financial department, to oversee things, to protect their interests. Or did the wife just say, honey, free reign, run the business, I'll stay home, I'll raise the kids, allowing him to invest in his career? So there's all these different things that you have to look at when you're talking about dividing a business, and you have to bring in a forensic accountant to do it. A lawyer doesn't do it. I don't do it. You have to bring in a forensic accountant because not all businesses are evaluated the same way. There's different formulas for different businesses. But here's something really important when you're looking at dividing the asset value of a business versus not. So if you're dividing the asset value of a business, then yes, you're going to spend some money deciding what that community property portion is. Did the business become a partnership as it grew? Well, then only half the business is up for division, right? Because the partner has the other half. The other thing you have to look at is the spousal support and child support, if there's children, will be based on the business owner's salary. And what if, and this happens a lot of times, what if the division of the business causes the business owner to close the business? That's another consideration. So then you have to weigh, as the wife, okay, do I want that to happen? Now he doesn't have an income. Or do I want to maybe modify that settlement if I'm entitled to any community property and really rely on the monthly child and spousal support? So there's a lot to weigh when you're dealing with a business. The harder businesses are the small businesses, the family-owned businesses, and there are so many of those in every city. In a small family-owned business, here's what's crippling. A lot of times, personal bills will be paid out of the family business, which is really a no-no. You're supposed to pay yourself, the business owner, a salary, And out of your salary, you pay personal bills. But if you don't do it that way and you have an accountant that plays around with numbers, now it's time to get divorced. And you have to go on the tax returns, which may be zeroed out. It may show very little income. And the wife says, well, wait a minute, come on. You know it makes more money. Don't say those words anymore. You have to live by your tax returns. It's tough. It's the hardest thing of all.
What about circumstances, again, with that family situation where, maybe it's been around for many years and maybe the business is worth $2, $3, $4 million, and one spouse that is getting divorced, they're in a situation where they have to do a forced sale. I mean, that's obviously going to lower the valuation. Is that correct?
Why would they do a forced sale?
So the business is worth $7 million, and
okay.
one of the spouse wants to take, $3.5 million out of it, and they already got $2 or $3 million in loans out because they need that money for operation, and so therefore, if they take out the 3.5, it's going to be upside down.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a very current example happening in Los Angeles right now. Tom Girardi of Girardi Keys Law Firm and Erica Jane. Are you familiar with this divorce?
I'm very familiar with the situation with the bar and circumstances, yes.
Well, that was a partnership. Tom obviously malfeasance with money. All the lawyers left penniless. The partner left penniless. Erica gets nothing because there was malfeasance.
Well,
does that kind of address the question you asked?
Well, correct, except in that case, there was nothing left. In this case, there is some equity there. And so if you had a business and it's worth, again, $7 million, and you got $2 million of liens, okay, so technically 5, right? And now one of the spouses says, well, I want $3.5 million. You're going to come back as a mediator and say, what? Take $1 million, take $2 million? What do you think you would do in that?
Oh, no. There's a forensic accountant. In a situation like this, you can't get around having a forensic accountant really do the numbers and really look at what's available. And then you can start talking about what the division of community property would be. I'm going to give you a parallel situation. So let's just say there are 401ks. And the spouse that owns the 401k borrows against it. Maybe the other spouse knows it was for the home, or they don't know. Now it's time to get divorced. You look at the full value of the 401k, even though the spouse who owned it borrowed against it, part of what he borrowed still goes back to the other spouse as part of her equity division, and he has to figure out how to get it to her.
Wow.
Maybe he gives her all of his portion just to make up for part of the loan he took out.
We're going to be taking a break. We'll be right back. KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM.
If you have a business problem, if someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years' experience, the Law Office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the Law Office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
Do you suffer from peripheral neuropathy in your hands or feet? One drug after another, continuing numbness, tingling, burning pain, balance problems, decreased quality of life? Are you experimenting with drugs like Lyrica, Neurontin, gabapentin, Cymbalta with limited success and your doctor telling you just have to live with it? My name is Dr. Thomas Pilecki, DC, host of Get Better with Dr. Pilecki and founder of Neuropathy Dr. X. I'm here to tell you that there is now a non-invasive natural solution to your neuropathy right here in Santa Clarita, a solution that addresses the underlying causes, and we're proud to say that we have an 87 to 97% success rate with neuropathy sufferers in getting their lives back. I'd like to invite you to our next seminar, when we'll teach you how to reverse this deadly condition that affects over 50 million Americans today. To reserve your spot now, call 753-9340. This is a free seminar, but seating is limited, so call 753-9340 now.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
I don't get the recall. Isn't the governor up for election next year anyway?
Yep,
So why do taxpayers have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on an election now?
because the big money donors behind the recall have a hidden agenda.
Really? Who are they?
The same super rich people who have also funded ex-President Trump and other far-right candidates.
But I thought they just didn't like the pandemic safety measures.
That's just a cover for their real agenda. The wealthy recall donors want to take away our safety protections and voting rights and hijack our democracy, as we've seen in other states they control. This recall is just a power grab.
Wow. I'm voting no on the recall.
Paid for by California Nurses Association, National Nurses Organizing Committee, CNA NNOC PAC. Committee major funding from the California Nurses Association.
We salute our veterans who sacrifice for our freedom. Every week, we share an inspirational story of a local veteran on our Hometown Heroes page at hometownstation.com, thanks to our good friends at Eternal Valley.
I'm Richard Nunnally, General Manager of Eternal Valley Memorial Park and Mortuary. We believe taking care of each other is what community is all about. We're proud to bring you the stories of our hometown heroes.
Eternal Valley, life well celebrated.
Visit hometownstation.com, sponsored by Eternal Valley.
Youth workshops return to the Canyon Theater Guild. Join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting September 7th, for 10 weeks of teamwork and fun while creating theater magic. Our day class from 12:30 to 3:30 will create the fun, pixelated world of video games with Press Start, while our after-school class from 4 to 6 embarks on a swashbuckling adventure with space pirates. Class size is limited, so register today at 661-799-2702 or visit canyontheater.org.
Hey bargain shoppers, did you know that there's a brand new grocery outlet in your area? At the new grocery outlet in Santa Clarita, you can cut your grocery bill in half with their otherworldly deals on brand name items. Find amazing deals on fresh produce, meat, dairy, and wine. These are actual everyday savings on the name brand groceries you know and love. It's no wonder all customers end up feeling such bliss at Grocery Outlet Bargain Market, now open on Plum Canyon Road near the Starbucks. See you there.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market.
Welcome back. What was that?
That was you.
It was you. KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM for that New Yorker in me. All right, we're back. We have a wonderful guest, Judith. She's got a lot of background, a lot of information on divorce mediations and how it affects business. And that's what we're trying to go over today. Because many owners, business owners, we've never really touched this topic before. But, you know, if you do own a business and something is not going perfect, you may want to figure out what to do. I think Traci's going to talk about prenups and have questions about that. So, Traci, without further ado, Traci.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. So, Judith, one of the things that we were talking about on the break was that, and we see this a lot with celebrity divorces, but for ordinary people, when is a prenup necessary? And is that something that, I mean, if you're a small business owner, do you need a prenup?
If you've had the business for a while prior to the marriage, yes, absolutely, if you want to protect that. You know, prenups are the hardest things to deal with because you're in love. So this is an emotional relationship you have. But then when you begin the idea of getting married, and certainly if you're a savvy business person and you have a lot of assets, you're going to want a prenup. So I can't write prenups, only attorneys can, but I mediate prenups. So people come to me and we talk about what's on the table that may be up for division and what is not on the table. It is a very sensitive and difficult conversation to have because it could destroy the moment. I think you can come in love, and then I start asking questions. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? We haven't discussed this. And all of a sudden, it's all about money, which is what divorce is. It's all about money. So in the mediation for the terms of the prenup, and by the way, you hand those over to attorneys to write up, that in the mediation for the terms of the prenup, it can get a little tense. So if somebody has a hit show, has a business, and says, I really don't want to divide it, the business is going to be the money upon which I'm going to sustain us or in part sustain us. But if for some reason we have to part company, I don't want this to be part of the divorce settlement. And if both people sign off on it, it won't be part of the divorce settlement.
But I think, would you agree that people almost always think that prenups should be more for, like, celebrities and things like that? But, I mean, it's almost like I feel like you have the difficult conversation when everything is happy because then it avoids having to have the difficult conversation when everybody's unhappy. So I've always thought that prenups shouldn't be necessarily thought of as just something for people in super high income brackets because you never know when you may be a startup, but your business may take off and be worth multi-millions of dollars, but you might have married a dud.
No, you're absolutely right. But I've done a lot of prenuptial mediations with just regular people like us who happen to have a lot of assets. Either one person has a lot or both people have a lot. And they want to protect everything that they worked hard for up to the marriage. But here's the other question that I always ask. Okay, you're all very clear now about what you don't want to divide. But once you get married, you start creating more assets. Let's talk about what you will be creating that you will end up dividing. You're going to buy more homes. You're going to have other investments. And so that's the other side of the coin when you're dealing with prenups. A, what don't you want to divide? Everything that you've worked for up to this point. Now, what are you going to be creating? And that's what people don't think about. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, it absolutely does. And here's something I think that a lot of business owners don't think about either, is how will a high profile or low profile divorce affect the brand of your business? Because if you're a mom and pop shop, people know of you as a mom and pop shop. Or if you're a high level celebrity like Amazon, Jeff Bezos, and everything in between, the fact that you're going through a divorce, especially if there's some level of scandal involved in it, then you're really putting your business at risk from a branding perspective. Do you have any insights on that?
Yeah, no, you totally nailed that, Tracy. So when I did the Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates divorce, I did it in one podcast because they're both from Seattle, and they were the 1 and 2 richest people in the world or about that. And they had very different divorces. They really did. When Jeff Bezos announced his divorce, and he was the first out of those two, my understanding, this is hearsay, but my understanding from other people who are more familiar with the legal aspect of that was the branding was of a concern to Amazon, and so Bezos stepped off the board so that the divorce, if it got messy, which it really didn't get messy, if it got messy, then he would no longer be part of it. The reason why his didn't get messy, again, my understanding, he had exceptional PR people who just squashed the girlfriend that Jeff Bezos had. And so much, they squashed that really fast. She only popped up after the divorce was final. But they had so much money to go around. What did Mackenzie get, $6 billion in the divorce settlement? Who cares about Amazon, from her perspective and her community property? I mean, $6 billion is enough to carry you by, right? A little different with Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. So Bill was no longer part of Microsoft. I mean, he was certainly a huge shareholder, but he was no longer functioning within the company. He did have, and they still do have, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I really don't know how that's been affected. It wasn't as nice a divorce as Bezos, and Melinda gave a lot of interviews, and she had a lot to say. But didn't she? Yeah, so they're supposedly going to keep working together with the foundation, but I don't know if they're going to be appearing together on stages much anymore. Remains to be seen.
I would imagine probably not.
Question on the foundation.
But listen, I've still ordered from Amazon. Ever since I did that podcast, I still ordered from Amazon. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we all do, but I do think I think this goes to a bigger point, which is it's really also about how the two adults conduct themselves within the context and of the divorce, because I don't know any of these people we're talking about clearly, but I do think that she was that Mackenzie was lovely in the way that she kept a low profile. There wasn't anything disparaging that was said. She donated a tremendous amount of the monies that were that came to her as a result of the divorce to charity, and continues to do so. So I think from a branding perspective, if you're looking at the overall business, she didn't do anything. And it appears as if that she probably could have been disparaging based on some of the circumstances that came out afterwards, but she really didn't. She didn't go in that vengeful route, right? And so I think from a branding perspective, it's like people make conscious choices how they're going to show up in a divorce, in a business relationship, in a personal relationship. So that's such an important part, and I think what you do in terms of like what are some of the criteria that you have for mediating an amicable divorce? Like what are some of the things that you recommend if there's somebody who's a business owner right now who's thinking about maybe how a divorce could impact their business? What are some of the tips that you would give?
The very first tip is go through the emotional divorce before you file for the legal divorce. It is so very important to go through the grieving stages of divorce because that will mitigate any of the untoward behavior and asks that will probably not be satisfied. You know, people just go nuts and ask for things. If you can go through the grieving stage first and then start the legal divorce, that would be wonderful. And then you absolutely have to learn the law. You do have to talk to attorneys. Reality is what it is. And once you understand the law, then you can either decide, okay, well, if we just go according to the law, this should work out for both of us. Or you can decide to do something that's unique to your settlement. So when I see people going outside of the law and maybe organizing an unequal settlement, I never ask why. It doesn't matter why. As long as they know why and they're both agreeing to it, the backdrop to the negotiations in mediation is the reason for the divorce and how the marriage was handled. That is always the elephant in the room, so to speak. And I do know that. And they don't always want to talk about that. And lawyers, too, need to go with the flow of whatever their clients want. But being realistic, too, you know, you can ask for what you want, but every state has their own laws. And it's going to come down to that. You're not going to get around the law if both parties are not in agreement to bend the law the way they think is right for them. And then communication.
So
Go ahead, Traci, and then I'll finish with communication.
I want you to finish with communication because that's what I was actually going to bring up is it feels like communication, no matter what, is one of the most critical pieces of keeping things amicable and above board, right?
100%. So it's what you say and the tone of voice you use that will make or break a settlement. You have to understand that nobody's a criminal because they're getting divorced, unless you actually are a criminal, but that's a whole different discussion.
That's a whole other episode.
I told you that in confidence.
Yeah, that's another interview. But if it's just the garden variety, either we fell out of love or somebody started having other relationships, something like that. Okay, so the marriage is over. Well, this is part of your journey. life isn't perfect. And the only way I could ever justify life is by saying everything that happens to me is to make me a better person and to develop me on planet Earth. So when you're getting divorced, you have to just, first of all, say that. What am I to learn from this, and how is this going to advance me? And then when you sit down to communicate, you just have to stop blaming each other and just talk about what you have to deal with. It works fine with the assets and debts, and then it gets a little bit more emotional when there are minor children. And any mediator's job is to calm everybody down, one step at a time. This will eventually work out. And that's how you get through mediation.
Well, in terms of communications, one issue that we haven't touched on, but I think is very important, is the whole idea of the internal communications of how you're going to talk to the employees at your business. So we talked about the external brand, right, and how that's going to affect the PR. But what we didn't talk about is how it affects your team members, because especially with a co-partnership and a husband and wife, with they're both working in the business, it feels like it could be really easy for people to pick, team mom or team dad, and take sides or have this whole disintegration of communication internally when a partnership's about to split up in a divorce. How do you recommend people handle that?
You are only the second person who's ever brought that up, and it's so key. I cannot tell you. The first person I talked about this with is somebody who had a business podcast, and he actually was an employee at one time in a business which was co-owned by husband and wife, and they were getting divorced. The business suffered tremendously for a number of different reasons. First of all, when you're getting divorced and you have friends who are couples, each person in that couple feels they have to take a side. So employees are put in that position too. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to talk to both people. They don't even know how to give their condolences. It is the most awkward situation ever. So if you are the two co-owners in a business, you must sit down with your employees, and you have to take the first step to make them feel comfortable, to tell them you are not going to talk about the divorce, you're not going to make them part of the divorce, and at any point in time, if the employees feel that the tension between the couple is affecting the relationship between the co-owners and the employees,
you're going to have to hold that thought.
You have to call a meeting.
We got to take a break.
Oh, we got a break.
98.1
Okay.
FM.
If you have a business problem, if someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years experience, the law office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the law office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
Are you looking for educational flexibility and choice? Look no further than your front door. iLead Exploration's independent study program is passionate about personalized learning. Our mission is to inspire learners to become creative problem solvers, compassionate leaders, conscientious collaborators, and responsible citizens who develop a lifelong love of learning. Our families partner with a credentialed teacher to customize each child's educational path. Families access community partners to choose a variety of in-person, online, and at-home options to create an optimal learning environment for each learner. Our program also values community, and through a variety of field studies, service projects, park days, and family gatherings, we provide many opportunities to foster friendships. Because there are currently in-person limitations due to COVID, we are offering activities online through webinars and virtual field trips. iLead Exploration is a tuition-free, independent study charter school program serving grades TK through 12 in Los Angeles, Orange, Kern, San Bernardino, and Ventura counties. To learn more about our program, visit iLeadExploration.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Fruit arranged like flowers? What a delicious idea! Edible Arrangements specializes in creating a variety of fresh fruit arrangements overflowing with fresh, hand-designed fruit and filled with strawberries, pineapple, grapes, cantaloupe, honeydew, and seasonal favorites. Made to order in a size you select and ready to eat and enjoy. You can even add chocolate to any arrangement. Edible Arrangements is always fresh, always appropriate, and always appreciated. Order yours today, 253-0052 or ediblearrangements.com. Edible Arrangements is on Soledad near Bouquet Canyon.
If you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, you need an expert. Hi, I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty. I've helped hundreds of Santa Clarita residents save their homes completely for free. I've got just over 20 years experience and a loan modification success rate of over 80%. I can negotiate better terms with your bank and I can save your home from foreclosure. And again, we do this completely for free. So if you're in any danger, please call me today at 661-714-1400. That number again is 661-714-1400. I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty, and I'll be happy to help you save your home for free.
When was the last time you had a business insurance checkup? That long, eh? It's most likely Glenn Terry time for you and your business. Glenn Terry has been a Santa Clarita resident since 1980 and has deep roots in the community. 22 years in the insurance industry, a trusted commercial insurance specialist with LBW, licensed in 50 states. There's nobody I'd trust more. Call Glenn Terry today and set up your free business insurance checkup at 661-702-6005. Glenn Terry sticks to the mission, not the co-mission. Yeehaw!
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
The shows must go on. The Main in Santa Clarita is your destination for free online music, theater, art, and entertainment opportunities. Tune into fun variety nights, join a talent show, learn from filmmaking experts, attend a modern play, and more from the comfort of your home. For more information and to view upcoming events, go to facebook.com/themain-newhall or at themain.org. Enjoy the shows.
Get your free thermostats from Pacific Air, free!
Ned, what are you doing? You can't offer that!
Yes, I can! With every AC tune-up this month, Pacific Air will replace your mechanical thermostat with a digital one, free!
Get in the truck, Ned!
Ned's right.
It's true.
Mark Schneider and daughter Kaylee for Pacific Air.
This month, call Pacific Air to schedule your WOW AC tune-up for just $77.
And we'll replace your old mechanical thermostat
with a brand new programmable digital thermostat, absolutely free of charge.
And if you need a new heating and air system but money is tight, call today and ask about our buy now, pay later financing. We think you'll say,
wow!
Call the guys in the orange truck. That's Pacific Air. On time, great care. When you want the best, call Pacific Air.
Details at pacair.com. Remember, without the E, it's just air.
Gavin Newsom is the most arrogant governor the state has ever seen. He's imposed some of the most restricted COVID mandates than any other state in the country, and yet California is no safer than any other state. I'm Arif Halaby, owner of Total Financial Solutions. We've been assisting Southern California residents with their financial goals for over 25 years. Under Newsom, my friends, neighbors have lost their jobs and their businesses. Our kids have lost a full year of in-school education and will now be forced to wear uncomfortable, restrictive masks. This is all in defiance to the very science Newsom and his cohorts pledged to follow. COVID restrictions, a spike in crime, and a homeless crisis are all blamed on Newsom's policies. More than 1,900 people a day have left the state of California. Enough is enough. It's time for a change. On September 14th, I urge you to vote to recall Governor Gavin Newsom. We support replacing him with Larry Elder, not a politician, but a leader with sensible solutions. So let's fix California. Vote for Larry Elder. Visit electelder.com. That's electelder.com.
Paid for by Total Financial Solutions.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. We have a great guest today, Judith. Judith, a couple people called in and they wanted to get your information. So how would people reach you?
You can reach me through my website. The name of my business is Divorce Resource Inc. So divorceresourceinc.com. Do I give phone numbers out?
It's up to you if you want people calling you, other than...
Okay, business number is 310-441-7555. 310-441-7555. And then I have my own podcast, theamicableddivorceexpert.com, theamicableddivorceexpert.com. And in both of these websites, there are the email addresses connected.
And when is that show podcast on? Or is it
I
24/7?
upload every Wednesday.
Okay. So anyone wants to get more information or listen to Judith a little more, you can do that. Now,
thank you.
No problem. You've been a wonderful guest. So here's the question. Who hires you most? And we only have about 50 seconds left. Who hires you most? Is it attorneys? Is it celebrities? Is it, where do you get most of your clients?
Well, the business has been alive since the 90s. So there's repeat business from people who continue to get divorced, who I have divorced formerly. So I love that business. It's very odd. It's a very odd business to be in. I also get referred by attorneys because I have my own practice. I don't have an attorney in this office. I get referred by attorneys, by therapists, by people I've already gotten divorced, and then, people just find me online.
Well, thank you very much. Great show. We're back next week, KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM. Thank you, Traci. Thank you, Judith.